Hello guys, I'm back from another video and today we talk about what if Deku never got one for all. So in the last video we talked about how, after a while of basically having a relationship with Stay in which they kind of have this father and, son vibe, and after a while they would realize that apparently the League of Villains are going to be attacking the USJ. So, they started planning and also Izuku also encountered a certain girl, aka Miss Hatsume, or Mei Hatsume. So, Mei was asking him about his, quirklessness, as he kinda gets offended, but she tells, Izuku that she wants to maybe help him, maybe even enhance his, quirklessness by basically just using hero gear. But he told her that he doesn't need any artificial means to basically become stronger. After all, he got stronger by just training. Nothing more, nothing less. So, after she left, she also left because, she was starting to, get a little bit flustered after seeing him. At least, seeing him, in this state. As in state, I mean he's literally just wearing, like, a little bit of a crop top. Like, literally showing his, So, after basically a while, it's basically time for them to start taking down the League of Villains before they can basically kill the rest of Class 1A. And after a while, basically fighting them, and also serving the arm of Shigaraki, and also saving Mei Hatsume, which, after seeing, Kokolin for the first time, she would start to get a little bit of a crush. So, yeah. So, and also meeting up with several heroes that were trying to maybe tell Izuku to maybe join their side, and also telling them that he was quirkless and said that he only trained to become this powerful, and they mostly just think about quirks and quirks and quirks, mostly about quirks, as Izuku basically just bodies All Might. Everybody would just be impressed, but also scared, as Izuku would leave, seeing an injured, Stain, and brings him back to his home to get healed. After a while, he would go back to his computer, as he already knows that All Might has his injury. So he would give out this smile at the end of the episode, learning about All Might's little injury, and he knows how to exploit it. So yeah, that's basically what happened last episode. And so, let's talk about what happens next. So, Izuku is basically just training for the day as he would get a little bit of a notification in his laptop. And this notification is basically notifications about the League of Villains' whereabouts. Apparently, they're planning on going to into a certain school, aka UA for the UA Sports Festival, which he also knows thanks to the news. After hearing about this, he would give off this terrifying smile, saying to himself, so the League of Villains are planning on attacking the UA Sports Festival, eh? Now this is gonna be fun. As he gives off this almost terrifying smile, as he would say this, I should probably tell Stain about this. He would bring out this laugh as he would say this. I also need to talk about a little bit of strategies. After all, those Nomu things being amalgamations of quirks are going to be annoying to deal with, especially if it's a one-on-one battle. It was not easy for me, at least. Sorry about that. So, after doing all of this, he would fall asleep as it's the next day. So, as it's the next day, he would decide to go back to the gym and just do his daily workout. As for Mirko and Mount Lady would decide to approach him, as she would say this, oh, hello cutie, as he would say this, do I know you? As she would say this, how do you not know me? I'm Mount Lady, one of the most famous heroes right now. As he would say this, let me guess, thanks to your... As he would start looking all over her, as he would say this, never mind. As she would say Oh, come on, kid. Besides, even though you're younger than me, it doesn't mean that I'll just, give up. As he would say this, just get away from me. Besides, I can probably just tell the police that you're harassing me. As she would say this. Okay, never mind. She would start going back to her little, position, as Mirko would say this. That's what you get. As she would say this. Shut up! I mean, that kid, why doesn't he like me? As she would say this. Well, isn't it obvious? As she would say this. What? As she would look at herself as she would say this, being Mirko. It's because of your vain personality. As she would say this. Hey, how about you? I mean, you're literally a bloodthirsty murderer sometimes. As she would say this. Hey, it's just my fighting spirit. As all of the patrons in this, wait for a second, god dang it, in this gym are a bit afraid that's, what is gonna happen next. Izuku is still training, without a care in the world, as Mirko would basically come towards him, as she would say this, Oi, boy, as he would say this, what is it, as she would say this, I heard that you don't like my friend here, as he would say this, well, isn't that obvious, as she would say this, I know that you probably hate her, but trust me, she's not all that bad. As he would just look at her and then look back at, her, aka Mount Lady, as he would say this. Have you seen the news about her? As she would say this. Oh, that. So, let's go back to a little flashback. So, during the flashback, he was basically watching the news as apparently Mount Lady had a bit of a scandal with Kamui Woods. Apparently, she kind of cheated on him this one time, and they basically had a falling out. And as for the guy, he would basically get, murdered by someone, supposedly Mount Lady, and her hero career is starting to fall down a little bit. So, end of flashback. As Izuku would say this. Oh yeah, I heard. As she would say this, being Mount Lady. It wasn't my fault. I mean, I did kind of, as Izuku would say this. That is why I don't really trust all heroes. As one of them would say this, being Mount Lady. Don't trust any heroes? As he would say this. Yeah, I am quirkless after all. And have you seen all the bullying that I had to deal with? As they would both stop, including the patrons of, the gym. As he would say this. Enough talking with you. Besides, it doesn't matter, after all, you are, quirk users. Not only that, frickin' pro heroes. As one of them, specifically not Mount Lady, I meant Mirko, would basically kick him right in the face. As she would say this. It's not... I know that we're pro heroes, but it doesn't mean that we're actually bad people. We don't even... As he would say this. Ugh, God. That didn't barely hurt. As she would say this. What? That was my most powerful attack, and you just took it with... As he would say this. Whatever. I don't have any time with you. As he would start going back to his, routine, and starts going back to his exercises. As Mount Lady would say this. Mirko, are you... As she would start getting ignited again. As ignited, I mean she starts getting a bit angry. Actually, not even a bit. She's more like she's completely mad. So, yeah. So, after a day of training, he would go back to his, fighting some dirt on some heroes again. He did got a call, by Stain, because he's currently trying to find some dirt on a certain number 2 hero. AKA Mr. Well, you know him. AKA Mr. Guy that basically ruined Todoroki's life. You all know him, and his name is Endeavor. So, Izuku would basically go onto the, dark web, as he would go back to basically talking to Mr. Hatsumi. Mr. Hatsumi would also give him the information, and apparently... Oh boy, he was not really a good man, and even a good father. Apparently, he abused his children, and mostly abused, well, Toya, which Toya basically died. So, he would also learn about his wife being in the hospital thanks to him basically just like, well, framing her for being insane. Not only that, his new eldest son, not really eldest son, more like, well, the youngest out of all of them, aka Todoroki or, Shoto, would be brutally punished if he doesn't train all that much. And while it's training, it's basically even more brutaler, as Izuku would be pissed, as he would give off some almost, well, blood lost, thanks to, well, Mr. Well, tongue over there, aka Stain, giving him the idea of learning how to use Bloodlost. So, after doing that, he would give the information to Stain as it's the next day, which is finally the day of the sports festival. Izuku decided to tell Stain that he's gonna go there because he heard that the League of Villains are coming there as well. So, Stain would also join as they pretend to be a father and son, duo. So, they would decide to wear some masks, as in, the. I'm not gonna say the virus' actual name, so I'm just gonna call it the sun virus. Yeah. So, they started wearing masks, like face masks, and wearing hoodies, and also wearing nothing else. They also carried their, well, weapons inside of their hoodies. So, they started going into the sports festival as they would see that everybody's, completely excited, including, including some of the heroes. So, Stain would say this. So, you got the information? As he would say this. Yeah, I heard apparently the League of Villains are planning to basically terrorize this, well, sports festival and cause some chaos, also bringing down the morality of the heroes. Not only that, I heard that they're planning on destroying this place as a symbol of something. I can't remember the document was basically like blurred out at that part. As he would say this. I see. Wait for a second. So, Stain would be doing nothing, and also Izuku, mostly just watching the sports festival as it goes on. So it's basically the first event. Just imagine it just like in canon, but except it's, well, Izumi, which, while Izuku's watching Izumi, he would be pissed. He would also see Mei Hatsume basically watching this, or not really watching this, more like, basically doing the whole thing, just like in canon. Basically using her inventions to basically move around, as you would look over and see Mirko and Mount Lady watching. Because after all, they are pro heroes and they own their own agency, so it makes sense. Izuku would just say to himself, I can't wait to see them again. I'm not really fucking excited about that. As he would hear something about the next event coming, being the cavalry battle. So, Izuku would see that Bakugo is basically abusing his power to just, well, get his own teammates. And apparently, he also saw in one of the, events, that he was basically just like exploding everybody, causing them to have several burns. Even like, how do I say it? Like, wait for a second. Causing 5th degree burns. Not really 5th degree burns, but close to that. Maybe like in the middle between like 4th and like 5th degree. So, many of these kids were basically burned badly, but they don't really care because Bakugo has a strong quirk, which pisses him off. Seeing all those kids, seeing those high schoolers being burned to the point that they can't even become heroes anymore, just pisses him off. But, you know what pisses him off more? His attitude. During the whole speech thing, he said that he's going to become the number one hero and said that he's going to become the winner and nobody's going to stop him, which pissed him off even more. And he definitely wants to beat Bakugo down. Maybe even, maybe even causing a bit of his pride to break. as he starts thinking, saying to himself, maybe I should, yeah, maybe I should leak all of his secrets, including the ones that he caused. As he would start thinking in his mind, as apparently it's the final event that's happening. Apparently, the final event is the whole, one-on-one battles. But when the one-on-one battles was basically told by every single person in the stadium, a portal would basically appear as villains would come out, as they start terrorizing everybody, as Stain would say this. Alright kid, let's go. As Izuku would say this. You're right, let's go. So, they would start going to their specific places as they started wearing their, little costumes. So, Izuku would wear his vigilante costume, wielding a spear, as he would basically sit on the sidelines for now, as Stain would also stay in the shadows for now. So, Shigaraki would be there, still no longer having an arm, and, well, Konagiri basically causing all the mayhem, using his portals to basically bring out these debris and cause some of the heroes to basically get hit by, well, falling rocks, concrete, and many other things. So, Biriko would arrive and started trying to fight Shigaraki as Shigaraki would grab her by the leg with all 5 fingers, causing her to disintegrate. It would kind of be, well, disintegrated, but it's not enough to basically stop her from becoming a hero, or being a hero, or whatever. So Mount Lady would arrive as she would start using her, well, quirk to basically start stomping on some of the Nomus, but some of the Nomus were pretty fast and started causing some significant damage to her. So, All Might would arrive as All Might would start getting beaten down by one of the Nomus, and some of the students of Class 1A, mostly Bakugo, would just be hurt, mostly by some of the Nomus. So, Izuku would just say to himself, I guess it's time now. As Izuku would say this, hey Stain, let's go. As Stain would say this, very well then. So, they started going down from the stadium, shadows as they started killing off some of the villains. Izuku would say this, there's no more mercy for you villains, as he would start slicing them apart, using his, spear Gaibolga, as he would scream out saying, Gaibolg! As he throws Gaibolga at one of the Nomus, causing it to basically sprout out several spikes, and it would basically kill that thing, or the Nomu. So he would grab the spear, as All Might would start charging at him, saying, what the hell are you doing, kid? As he would say this, I'm sorry, but are you seriously blind? I was saving you. As he would say this, saving us? You're just a kid, and just leave, or become a hero, just like, as he would say this. You're pissing me off. As he would see that Shigaraki is coming towards him again to try and attack him. As he would say this. Oh, looking for a fight again. As he would basically sweep him off his feet and cut off both of his legs. He would scream out in pain just like always, as Kodagiri would carry him, cleaning up his wounds, as he would basically summon out several more Nomus and villains. So some of the students are basically terrified, as Izuku would say this. Now this is gonna be complicated. As he would see that Mount Lady is basically hurt thanks to the Nomus, including, a certain bunny girl, aka Mirko. He would start, making a, not really making, more like grabbing 2 of his, healing runes and throwing at them, as Izuku would say this. Hey, heal yourselves for God's sake. Like, seriously, are you gonna get yourself killed? As Mirko would say this. Why are you? As Izuku would say this. Hey, I'm saving your goddamn life for God's sake. As he would see that one of the Nomus is basically charging towards him, as he would say this. As he would see that, wait for a second. Stain coming in clutch, he would basically use his katanas to basically slice the Nomu in half, killing it with, basically starting from the brain to all the way to the bottom. As some of the Nomus are basically kind of scared of them, as Izuku would say this. Are you really that scared? Very well then. As he would say this. Hey Stain, tell those heroes over there to basically get out of the way, because I'm going to be activating one of my special spells. As he would say this. Okay. As he would tell every single hero to get out of there, but they think that they're just, but they're just like, vigilantes, so they don't care. But he would do care, as he would start throwing them back at, like, the stadium-like entrance, as Mirko and Mount Lady would basically be just the ones that, wait for a second, Stain forgotten, and Stain would just, like, forget them, as both Mirko and Mount Lady would start going into a corner to basically watch out, or at least watch what is happening right now. So, he would say this. Now, allow me to show you. Now, burning hay, sacrificial vice, time for you to pave with your life. As he would scream out, "We're Carmen!" As a large straw-like man made out of fire and straw, as he would start gathering up all of the Nomus as they start burning alive. Both Mount Lady and Miracle would be like, they would be in awe seeing this. And also for Mei Hatsume, she would also see this, as he would say this. So, I defeated all of your Nomus, Mr. Shigaraki, or whatever the hell you call yourself. As you would say this. You damn cheater! My legs! I can't feel my legs! As for... Wait for a second, god dang it. Konigiri would say this. Sorry, Master, we should leave now. We're... we're overwhelmed. As he would say this. No, I want to defeat that brat! That brat must die! As Shigaraki would be teleported away, and, well, Konigiri would also teleport away. So, Izuku, after basically doing this, he would go towards both Mirko and Mount Lady, as Mirko would say this. What are you gonna do with us, you vigilante? As he would say this. Seriously? We just met the first time and I was trying to be nice to you. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, just call me Kukulin or whatever, or just Ku. Maybe, actually, are you still injured? As one of them would say this. Oh, it hurts. As he would look at Mount Lady, as it turns out that Mount Lady seems to have a bit of a, a scratch on her. Not really a scratch, more like a wound on her, side. As he would say this. Hey, be careful. I'll help you. As she would say this. Help me. As he would start using his rune to basically heal her up. As she would say this. Thank you. As Mirko would say this. Whatever. So why did you do that? As he would say this. Well, I'm a vigilante. I only kill villains and maybe some heroes that are pretty much assholes. And for you guys, I don't think you're assholes. As one of them would say this, being Mirko. What do you mean by that? As she would basically pull Izuku in, as she would accidentally cause Izuku to fall down, and you probably know this type of trope. He would accidentally kiss Mirko. As when, a certain girl basically sitting on the sidelines, aka, Mei Hatsume sees this, she would get a little bit jealous. After all, she did have a crush on him after the USJ incident. As Mirko would say this, what the? As Izuku would say this, what the hell did you do? Why did you? As she would say this, you. As she would start getting a little bit mad as she starts charging towards him, but she still has an injury, so she would basically fall down. As she would say this, you stole my first kiss, you bastard. Ow, it hurts. She would start hurting in her leg, saying this, ow, you stole my goddamn first kiss. Ow. As Izuku would say this, stole your first kiss? God damn. As one of them would say this, being Stain, hey, we should go now. After all, it seems that the heroes have finally arrived. As Izuku would say this, so it seems. Hey, Mirko, Mount Lady. As Mirko and Mount Lady would look over as he would say this. Be safe or whatever. As he would basically leave, it's saying as Mount Lady is still pretty much pissed off that she got her first kiss, not by the man that he, or at least a man that she absolutely likes, but instead a goddamn vigilante, aka Cucullin, which she's still kinda pissed off on. As for Mount Lady would be kind of jealous because after being healed by him, she would also start having a little bit of a crush on him. And as for Mei Hatsume, she would be pissed. So yeah. So, after they got back to, well, Izuku's apartment, he would start healing up thanks to his runes, as Stain would say this. So, how was your first kiss? As he would say this. What the? Why did you ask that? As he would say this. What? I'm trying to lighten up the mood. I'm not usually the type to, cause a bit of havoc. Not really havoc, more like, um, making a bit of friends, or even laughing at least. As he would say this. Uh, um, I guess she was, as he still feels the kiss, feeling her soft lips, as he was, whatever, it doesn't really matter. As he would say this. What? Are you a bit shy? As he would say this. I am not. As he would start nosebleeding, thinking about what happened, as he would say this. Whatever. Hey, Stain. As he would say this. Yeah. As he would say this. Remember that, information about, that bastard Endeavor? As he would say this. Oh yeah. I'm planning to maybe injure him to the point that he never becomes a hero again. As he would say this. And as for the information, I want you to stick it up to his chest and let the world know that this so-called number 2 hero is a goddamn monster. As he would say this, with pleasure. So, after basically leaving, he would say this. I can't believe I got kissed by the... Wait for a second. I can't believe I got kissed by the number 6 hero. Oh, God. I just feel pissed off at myself. God fucking damn it! He would basically cry out as he would say this. Whatever. The only thing that matters now is trying to find a way to... As he would basically just sigh as he would say this. Find a way to make that so-called number 1 hero all might fall. That's my only wish right now. And as for Bakugo, he would just go onto the dark web and told Mei's father, aka Mr. or at least Mr. Hatsume, to wait for a second. Told to Mr. Hatsume to maybe get some information on Bakugo Katsuki. So, he would had to wait a while because he doesn't know that, hero, but he would tell him that he's an old friend. Not really old friend, more like a bully that told him to just die already because he's basically quirkless. As when he hears this, he would be pissed off as well. As he would say this. Alright, because you give me the description of that boy, I'll give you a discount. After all, I hate people like him. He would say that. As Izuku would say this. Heh, can't wait to punish that bastard. And see Bakugo Katsuki fall for doing all of those things back in the day. As he would start laughing at himself. So, let's go to a different perspective, shall we? So, let's go back to Mirako, as Mirako is basically in her room, basically sulking, saying to herself, that vigilante stole my first kiss. It was meant for the man that it was meant to marry. Or at least some man that actually likes me. They're too intimidated with me. Except for that Izuku kid. He didn't really fear me. In fact, he doesn't even know that I'm the number 6 hero until I told him about it. He was different. He's different. She would start getting a little bit pissed as she would say this. When I see You, Mr. Cullen, you're going to regret everything, including the consequences of your actions, including taking away my first fucking kiss. As Mount Lady would arrive, as she would say this, "Hey, Mirko, have you seen the..." As she would look at her, as she looks, that, that she would see that Mirko is completely pissed, as she would say this, "Never mind, I should be leaving right now." So, yeah. After that day, she would start throwing pillows at the wall as she would basically fall asleep after a while. So, yeah. So, this is going to be the end of this episode. So, yeah, this is going to be the end of this episode. And so, I hope you liked the video, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye.